firm first of all, must be 51% owned by one or more women who are economically disadvantaged, and you see that that can be waived under certain conditions. The contracting officer must have a reasonable expectation that 2 or more women-owned small businesses will respond to the requirement. So what does that mean? That they're probably going to be issuing a sources sought. So it becomes incumbent upon the women-owned small businesses and their teaming partners that they respond to the sources sought. And I know we've all heard that before under the Service-Disabled Veteran-Owned Small Business Program. If we don't respond, we're not giving the contracting officer the ammunition that they need in order to set that requirement aside. What that also means is that procurement center representative or the SBA representative that's worked so hard to gain these opportunities for us at the local agency, we're letting them down. We want to make sure that we give them all the ammunition that they need so they can set that procurement aside for women-owned small businesses. So I ask you to participate in that. Please go to the next one. The contract must be able to be awarded at a fair and reasonable price. We talked about that. Each competing women-owned small business must be certified by a federal agency or state government or an SBA-approved entity as a women-owned small business. Right now, I think there's one SBA-approved entity, and there's still some caveats. They're looking into the Department of Transportation, but there's still some issues related to that about how do you make those two, a state Department of Transportation, quasi-state, quasi-federal, and SBA regulations, how do they overlap? So they're still asking for more time, and they're looking through that because they want to make sure that the program is administered properly so that we can gain all the opportunities that are afforded us. The contract must be within the 83 industry codes. Okay, William? Those are the 6 criteria. So now we've gone through the economically disadvantaged SDVOSB qualifications and the eligibility. Now, the women-owned small business eligibility. 750,000 or less net worth, excluding ownership interest in the business, excluding the primary personal residence, and the firm must be small under the appropriate NAICS code. And of course, the firm must be minimally 51% unconditionally controlled by one or more women, and they must be a U.S. citizen. So we've all heard the conversations. We all know that many times there are companies that are not who they say they are. I can tell you that working with the SBA in Washington, D.C., they are working very hard to make sure that doesn't happen in this program. I have seen far too many companies, HubZone and SDVOSB, come to me after my warnings about, nobody likes to wear orange. That's the color you wear when you go to prison, right? I don't look good in orange. Nobody else looks good in orange. We have to follow the regulations. If you're not sure, you got SBA. Check with SBA. Make sure you know what you are doing. And make sure if you have the certification, let's make sure that we're working the program towards its initial intent. Just like the Service-Disabled Veteran-Owned Small Business Program. Let's make sure we do it right, because every time a company decides that they're going to take the easy way out, or they're going to take 5%, or they're going to be a front, it hurts all the rest of us. And I can tell you, quite frankly, working with large companies, when that happens, sometimes they come back to me and say, well, I heard that they did this for 5%. Companies I work with, we don't do 5%. We do the required minimum, 15%, or the required minimum, 25%. And the small business must be in control of that contract. Which also means that if you're a service-disabled or a woman-owned business, and you've been awarded a contract, and you need to have conversations with that agency, and you have teamed with a large company, who should be talking to that contracting officer?
The service-disabled, the woman-owned?
The woman-owned, or the service-disabled, or the small business. You guys control that contract all along the way. You can always meet with your team members, but you're in control. Because no matter what's happening, that large business does not have privity with the agency. So if they have no privity, why are they talking to the agency? And so I really feel compelled to talk to you about that, because sometimes people get a little confused. Remember, as a small business, if you're the prime, you're controlling that situation. It's a quid pro quo. You are giving that large business an opportunity to do business outside of the full and open competitive range, because they're teaming with you. So if you're giving them that opportunity because you are a qualified team member, what do you need from them in exchange? Right? It is a quid pro quo. It should be a true teaming and a true partnership between the large and the small business. It cannot be the tail wagging the dog. And I can tell you the successes that we have been with those companies that have stood up straight and tall and have controlled their contract and their situation. I don't care. Team with another veteran-owned small business, but do not turn over your control to a large company. Please don't do that. It sets me back. It's kind of narcissistic. It sets me back, and it certainly sets you and your peers back. Can we go to the next slide? So today, I spent about 70% of my time in Washington, D.C. I had an opportunity through the Department of Commerce, the Minority Business Development Agency, because of Carlos Guzman, who is the Director of Business Development with the Minority Business Development Agency. He hand-walked me in to the SBA. I had a meeting with Anna Harvey. We talked about this program. I was giving another presentation in Atlanta. What she said to me was this. She said, listen, here's something that really upsets me. To date, there are no SBA-sanctioned third-party certifiers. And there were a lot of consultants out there charging women-owned small businesses to be certified. And Anna said that she has already asked council, they've already gone out, to issue cease and desist letters to those consultants that are trying to certify women-owned small businesses because, why? No third-party certifiers have been approved yet by SBA. So put your money back in your pocket. She was not happy. So she gave her phone number, you see it there, and she also gave her website address. And her issue is, listen, she wants to hear from you, particularly women-owned small businesses, but she wants to know if there are any third-party certifiers that have not been approved by SBA, that dog don't hunt. You have to put that back. They're not ready yet. We're not ready yet. The program does not become effective until February the 4th. So don't let anybody tell you they can get you certified for $300 or $400 or $5,000. We don't know what it is yet. So I want you to hold that in abeyance for a moment. Please go to the next slide. So the certification process, let's talk about that. Being fully mindful of the fact that the program does not become effective until February 4th. Documents must be provided to the Women-Owned Small Business Repository. What is that? It's under development. Not quite ready yet. I assure you that SBA is vigorously working on it to make sure that it's in place by February 4th. But they're going to have a repository